She left me at the altar for her ex who showed up, so I thanked my guests and went on the honeymoon alone. Now he's ghosted her, and she's paying back my deposits. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. Let me start from the beginning to give you context. I'm Alex, 34 now, a high school history teacher in a mid-sized city. Nothing flashy, but I've always been the steady type, reliable job, savings account, the guy who shows up on time and follows through. I met Emily 5 years ago at a mutual friend's barbecue. She was 28 then, working as a graphic designer, full of energy and big dreams. She talked about traveling the world, starting her own freelance business, all that. I fell hard because she made life feel exciting, and I thought I could be the anchor she needed. From the start, I was all in. Emily had some rough patches, lost her job during the pandemic, dealt with family drama, and I was there. I covered rent a few times when she was between gigs, helped her build her portfolio by staying up late proofreading her proposals. Hell, I even took a second job tutoring online to save for a down payment on a house she wanted. She always said I was her rock, the one who made her feel safe. We got engaged after 3 years, and planning the wedding became our thing. I paid for most of it, the venue, the caterer, the honeymoon to a tropical island, because her freelance work was inconsistent and I didn't mind. It was an investment in us, right? Total cost was around $25K, with deposits on everything from the photographer to the resort. I remember the night I proposed. We were at a quiet park, and she cried happy tears, saying, "Alex, you're everything I never knew I needed." Flash forward, and those words sting like hell. The wedding was set for a sunny Saturday in June, at this quaint chapel in the countryside surrounded by wildflowers. We'd invited about 80 people, family, friends, colleagues. I was nervous but excited, standing at the altar in my suit, adjusting my tie for the 10th time. My best man, Mike, clapped me on the back and joked about how I'd finally settled down. The music started, everyone stood, and the doors opened. But Emily didn't walk in smiling. She stepped through hesitantly, her face pale, bouquet clutched like a lifeline. Halfway down the aisle, she stopped. The murmur started. Then, from the back, this guy bursts in, tall, disheveled, looking like he'd just rolled out of bed. It was Jake, her ex from college. I'd heard about him in passing, the wild one, who broke her heart years ago by cheating and disappearing. Apparently, he'd shown up, out of nowhere the night before, professing undying love or some crap. Emily turned to me, tears in her eyes, but not the remorseful kind. More like relieved. She walked up to the altar, grabbed my hands, and said, "Alex, I can't do this. Jake's here. He showed up last night, and it's a sign. We've been talking, and I realize now I was settling with you. You're great, really, but you're so predictable. Safe. Jake gets me in a way you never could. This is fate telling me not to make a mistake." The chapel went dead silent. I felt like the floor dropped out. My mind raced. Settling? After everything I'd done? But her voice was smug, almost excited, like she'd rehearsed this. "I've been feeling trapped," she continued, loud enough for everyone to hear. "You work your 9 to 5, come home, watch documentaries. Jake? He's spontaneous. He traveled to Europe on a whim last year. I need that fire, Alex. Not this comfortable routine. Don't make a scene. Think of our families. We can handle the deposits later. I'll pay you back half for something. But I have to go with my heart." Twisted logic, right? Like my stability was a flaw, and Jake's flakiness was a virtue. She justified it by saying I'd smothered her with reliability, that our life together would be boring forever. I stood there, heart pounding, guests whispering. Her mom in the front row nodded like this was normal. Jake lingered by the door, smirking. I could have yelled, begged, caused a meltdown. But something clicked, dignity over drama. I squeezed her hands once, let go, and said calmly, "If that's what you want, Emily. Good luck." Then I turned to the crowd. "Folks, I'm sorry for the inconvenience. The wedding's off. Please enjoy the reception if you want. Food's paid for. Thank you for coming." No tears, no outburst. I walked out the side door, got in my car, and drove home alone. That night, I sat in my apartment, staring at the walls. Boxes of her stuff everywhere. The confusion hit hard. How had I missed the signs? There were little things, looking back, late nights working, vague texts about old friends. But I trusted her. The unfairness burned. I'd sacrificed weekends, savings, even turned down a promotion to be home more for her. Now I was the villain for being safe? I didn't sleep much, just packed her things neatly and left them by the door. Friends blew up my phone with sympathy, but I kept responses short. No bad-mouthing her. I wasn't going to stoop. The days blurred after that. I took a week off work, fielded calls from concerned relatives. My parents were furious on my behalf, but I told them to let it go. It's done, I said. Inside, though, it was rough. I'd wake up reaching for her side of the bed, only to remember. Flashbacks hit randomly, like the time I worked double shifts so she could afford design software, or when I surprised her with tickets to an art show, and she beamed, calling me her perfect partner. Now those memories twisted into questions. Was it all an act? Did she ever value what I gave? But I didn't wallow publicly. Instead, I focused on logistics. Canceled vendors where I could, ate the non-refundable deposits. The honeymoon was prepaid, non-transferable, 2 weeks at a resort on a sunny island, beaches and all. Friends suggested I sell it or take someone else, but I decided screw it. I'd go alone. It felt symbolic, like reclaiming something she'd ruined. So, 2 days after the non-wedding, I boarded the plane solo, carry-on in hand. The flight attendant raised an eyebrow at my story. I kept it vague, but wished me well. Those 2 weeks were a turning point. No distractions, just me, the ocean, and time to think. I lounged on the beach, waves crashing, journaling my thoughts for the first time ever. At first, it was all hurt. The public humiliation, guests' pitying looks, Emily's smug dismissal echoing. You're predictable, she'd said, like it was an insult. But as days passed, confusion shifted to clarity. I hiked trails, snorkeled, ate fresh seafood at sunset. Met other travelers, a retired couple who shared stories of their own heartbreaks, a solo backpacker who talked about self-reliance. No romance, just perspective. I realized I'd lost myself in the relationship, always prioritizing her dreams over mine. Teaching was fulfilling, but I'd shelved ideas like writing a history book or traveling more. By the end, the pain dulled. I wasn't angry, just detached. Emily became a lesson, not a loss. Back home, I threw myself into rebuilding. Changed the locks, donated her forgotten stuff to charity. Started therapy, not because I was broken, but to process properly. My therapist called it healthy detachment. I hit the gym, reconnected with old hobbies. Landed that promotion I'd passed on before, vice principal at my school, better pay, more impact. Mutual friends updated me sparingly. Emily and Jake had run off together, posting lovey pics online from some road trip. Her family defended her, saying I didn't fight hard enough. One cousin even texted me, "You should have stopped her at the altar, man. Be more alpha next time." Toxic BS. I ignored it. Months ticked by in quiet routine. I dated casually, nothing serious, focusing on me. No stalking her socials. I blocked her everywhere. Life felt lighter, freer. Then, around 6 months post-altar, the karma whispers started. A friend mentioned Jake had a reputation, serial dater, unstable job history. Apparently, he'd shown up because his latest fling dumped him, and Emily was a convenient rebound. They moved in together fast, but cracks showed. She quit her freelance gigs for stability with him, but he bounced between temp jobs. Mutual said she looked stressed at gatherings I skipped. One evening, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Alex, it's Emily. Can we talk? I think I made a huge mistake." I stared at it, feeling nothing much. No rush of vindication, just mild curiosity. But I didn't respond. That opened the floodgates. The text started innocently enough, but they ramped up quick. At first, it was that one message. "Alex, it's Emily. Can we talk? I think I made a huge mistake." I didn't reply, but 2 days later, another. "Please, Alex. Jake and it didn't work out like I thought. He just up and left last week. No warning, just packed his stuff while I was at work and ghosted me. I'm staying with my mom now. I know I hurt you, but can you at least hear me out?" Still nothing from me. I was at the gym when the first call came, her number popping up, unblocked by accident, I guess. I let it go to voicemail. "Alex, pick up." Her voice cracked a bit, but there was an edge. "I was wrong, okay? You were always there for me, steady and kind. Jake was exciting at first, but he turned out to be a total flake. He racked up bills on my credit card, then bailed when things got real. I'm drowning here. Lost my main client because I was too distracted with the drama. Friends are ghosting me too. They say I humiliated you publicly and it was messed up. Please call back. I need to apologize properly. Hypocrisy at its finest. She'd called my stability boring, but now it was a virtue? I deleted the voicemail, went back to my weights. But she didn't stop. A week later, more texts. Alex, why are you ignoring me? After everything we had. I see you're doing well. Got that promotion. Huh? Congrats. But don't you miss us? I do. Let's meet for coffee. My treat. By now, word had spread through our old circle. Mike filled me in over beers. Jake had a pattern. Charm women. Use them for a place to crash, then vanish when responsibility knocked. Emily had quit her freelance hustle to support his dreams, whatever that meant, and now she was scrambling for gigs. Her social media went dark after a few vague posts about learning from mistakes. Mutual friends who defended her at first were pulling back. One even apologized to me, saying, "We didn't know the full story. She spun it like you were controlling." I sat with it all during quiet evenings at home. The unfairness still lingered sometimes, like how I'd sacrificed that promotion initially to help with her business loans, only for her to throw it away on a whim. But mostly, I felt pity from a distance. Not enough to engage, though. My life was moving. I started outlining that history book I'd shelved, took a weekend trip with buddies, even went on a few dates with a colleague named Sarah. Nothing serious yet, but she appreciated the predictable me without mockery. Then the desperation kicked in. About 8 months post-alter, she called again, this time late at night. I answered by mistake, half asleep. Alex? Oh God, finally. Listen, I know I don't deserve this, but I'm in a bad spot. Jake left me with nothing. Debts, no job stability. I had to move back with my parents. Remember how you always handled the finances? I need advice, or maybe help? Just temporarily. Her voice shifted from pleading to something sharper when I stayed silent. Why are you being so cold? You said, good luck, at the altar like you meant it. Was that all fake? I thought you loved me enough to forgive. Everyone makes mistakes. Mine was chasing excitement. But you? You're acting like I never mattered. I kept it brief, calm. Emily, this isn't my problem anymore. Take care. Click. No sympathy. No, that's awful. Just facts. She didn't take the hint. The next day, her mom called. Mrs. Thompson, always a meddler. Alex, honey, Emily's a wreck. You know how impulsive she can be. Jake was a snake. He used her and ran. She's sorry, truly. Why not give her another chance? You two were so good together. Be the bigger person. Forgive like a real man would. Toxic, right? Blaming me for not fighting again, like the altar was my fault. I replied evenly. Mrs. Thompson, that's between Emily and me. Or rather, it isn't anymore. Please don't call again. Blocked her number. Emily's attempts escalated. Texts turned frantic. Alex, I saw your post about the school event. Looks fun. I miss that life with you. Please, let's talk. I'll come over. Then, uninvited, she showed up at my apartment one evening. I opened the door to her standing there, eyes red, clutching a coffee like an olive branch. Alex, thank God. Can I come in? I drove all this way. She pushed past before I could say no, pacing the living room. Look, I get why you're mad. I was cruel at the wedding, smug, dismissive. Saying you were predictable like it was bad? That was wrong. But I was caught up in the moment, the drama. Jake made it seem romantic, like a movie. Now, he's gone, blocked me everywhere. I'm isolated. Friends sided with you after hearing the truth. My family's pressuring me to fix this, but I want it for me. We can start over. I'll make it up to you. Her words dripped hypocrisy, twisting the narrative like she'd been the victim of fate, not her choices. When I didn't budge, sitting stone-faced on the couch, her tone flipped to anger. How can you just sit there? Don't you feel anything? I humiliated myself too. You know, running off like that. Now I'm paying for it, broke and alone. You owe me a conversation at least, after all those years. Owe her. After the deposits, the public dump? I stood, opened the door. Emily, you don't get to demand anything. Leave. She stormed out, yelling over her shoulder. Fine. Be heartless. You'll regret this when you're lonely. Friends got roped in next. Her sister emailed, pleading. Emily's spiraling. She's angry now, lashing out, but it's because she cares. Talk to her. Ignored. A mutual acquaintance cornered me at a coffee shop. Dude, she's desperate. Says you were her rock. Why not hear her out? I shrugged, not interested. It peaked with a barrage of voicemails, her voice unraveling. Alex, this is ridiculous. Ignoring me shows your true colors, petty and weak. After I chose excitement over your boring life? Well, joke's on me, but you're no better. Then, softer, please. I need you. The shift revealed it all, desperation masking entitlement. Through it, I stayed detached. Therapy helped. I journaled the absurdity, turning pain into perspective. My life bloomed. Sarah and I got serious, sharing hikes and quiet nights. The book outline grew into chapters. Emily, fading noise. It all wrapped at our mutual friend Lisa's birthday party, 9 months after the altar fiasco. I debated skipping, but Lisa insisted. Come celebrate. You deserve fun. It was at a cozy backyard gathering, string lights and laughter. I arrived with Sarah, her hand in mine, feeling content. Then I spotted Emily across the yard, chatting awkwardly with a few holdouts. She looked worn, thinner, forced smile. Our eyes met. She beelined over. Alex, she started, voice low but urgent, ignoring Sarah at first. I didn't know you'd be here. This is perfect. We need to talk. Jake's mess left me in debt. I even had to sell my car. But seeing you, it reminds me what I lost. You're thriving. I hear. Promotion. Writing that book. I'm proud, really. Can we step aside? I realize now you were the real deal. I was stupid, chasing thrills. Let's try again. I'll repay everything. The deposits, all of it. She glanced at Sarah then, eyes narrowing. Who's this? Already replaced me. Hypocrisy peak. Acting like she hadn't ditched me publicly. I kept it realist, firm, no emotion wasted. Emily, that's not happening. The deposits? Yeah, the check you sent last month cleared. That's settled. But us? That's over. I've built something solid here. Better job, real connections, a life where I'm not a backup plan. You're irrelevant to that now. I don't think about what happened anymore. It's just a story. She pressed. But you said I was your everything once. Doesn't that count? Mirroring her logic back, you called it settling. Sounds like you got what you wanted, excitement. Move on like I did. Her face crumpled, then twisted angry. You're cold. Enjoy your upgraded life. She stormed off, drawing stares from guests who'd witnessed the original drama. Whispers followed, she begged. After the altar, the contrast hit. Me calm with Sarah, her unraveling alone. Later, Lisa pulled me aside. Karma's a bitch, huh? Truth came out. No one's buying her excuses anymore. I nodded, but didn't gloat. Walking home with Sarah, hand in hand, I felt free. Emily's chapter? Closed. I dodged a bullet, grown from the ashes. If you're reading this, trust your dignity. It pays off. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.